in the United Kingdom, the migration row has now entered another controversy. The European Union has rejected the UK's attempts to create a new migrant returns deal. A European Commission official has already told the UK's national security that it is not open to any reattempt. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak hoped that the agreement would help to tackle the small boats crisis. The Labour Party has vowed to seek a negotiation with the EU if it wins the next election. The decision comes after a series of developments regarding migrants. The issues range from the controversial barge in the UK to the deaths of 6 migrants in the English Channel. The UK hoped that France's assistance in the EU, but the French president also rejected a bilateral agreement. Macron repeatedly insisted that the UK must address the issue at an EU level. Now, any such agreement would require the UK to share the burden of the bloc. Sunak has already said that any new deal with the EU may take longer than other measures. The UK government officials have criticised the bloc as they say the EU is struggling to have a common migration deal, while adding that Britain is open to working on a range of matters relating to asylum and migration.
Now making numeracy a central objective.
Now, joining us for more on this is our correspondent Alex Isaac, coming to us from London. Hello to you, Alex. Now, the European Union has rejected the UK's attempts to create a new migrant returns deal. What does this mean now for the Rishi Sunak government?
It's going to put a lot more pressure on Rishi Sunak as Prime Minister, as one of his 5 promises was to try and get control of this migrant crisis. Now, of course, in his reign, we gave 500 million British pounds already over to France to help patrol the Channel. And it does feel for many that that money hasn't really been utilised. Of course, that's not quite the same as taking illegal migrants or those coming across on the boats and then sending them to France, where they can get looked at to see if they are coming over legally or illegally before sent back to their own countries. But it will really put a dampener on how exactly migrants are going to be dealt with on the Channel. Only yesterday we had a incident where boats sank, and unfortunately some people did die trying to come across the Channel. And it does feel that a lot of those patrols that were put out there haven't been able to do the job that they've been put there to do, to help save those people and to ensure that those boats stop coming over. At the moment, the government is also trying to figure out what to do with them when they do come over to the country, because as I said, some of them aren't coming here legally. They are coming over via other ways, through the boats on the Channel, also through on cargo as well. So there is a lot of concern within the UK public about exactly how this is going to be dealt with. We've been seeing Bibi Stockholm, the barge that is eventually going to house 500 people. We already understand that that's not going to be able to be profitable at the moment. And of course, we had that evacuation with the Legionnaires. And then there is the discussions as well from the government about using old army bases. And they're putting aside about 3 to 5 years that those army bases are going to potentially house migrants that are coming over to the country. But it all comes down to that's also going to be a taxpayer cost as well, because there isn't going to be enough space, and therefore the hotels and hostels that have already been used, costing millions of pounds a day, they're likely to still continue to be used. So Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, really needs to step up. We still have the Rwanda plan that's going through the Supreme Court at the moment. That is still getting stopped by human rights issues. And of course, the illegal migration bill, although that has gone through, there are still worries about exactly how that's going to work. So at the moment, it does feel that this migrant crisis keeps getting bigger, and without the help from the EU or even France, it's like the UK is basically on its own here, and they really need to push forward to do something to help those that are trying to come across legally, and also those within the UK who are getting quite frustrated about the amount that keep coming over.
Right. Alex, thank you very much for bringing us all the latest details. WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.